Hey everyone, my name is Baxter.
I'm Tyler.
So in today's episode, we got quite a bit of products to show you guys. As you know, it's winter time. We get bored in the winter as anglers. So what do? We fidget with our tackle. You know, we have to talk about tackle storage, all the new baits that we've been adding to the fleet and all that good stuff. But today we're going to be taking mainly a good look at all the tackle storage that we've kind of found here recently and stumbled upon throughout, you know, just Instagram posts or different YouTube videos and other influencers that we follow. So anyways, Tyler's going to kick us off with some line management stuff.
So I got a little cheap Plano box here. You can pick them up at Walmart. Any of your big tackle stores carry them. This is mainly what I use on the river and for all my leader lines. So I have a whole bunch of like fluorocarbons, anything from 4-pound test all the way up to 15-pound. It stores it nice, simple, and you can stash it anywhere, either if you have a bass boat all the way down to a kayak or a bank guy. That's a good little cheap option. Here's another little basic everyone starts off with. This is just a generic, cheap tackle box. This one is good for spoons. That's what I have in here. I don't have that many, but it holds everything from your big Magnum spoons all the way down to your little finesse spoons. And usually the next step up, here's another Plano box. You can usually get these at Walmart. That's where I picked this one up at. This is for all my hair jigs. It's simple. You label them. You can write. Sharpie works good on these. I have all mine with a label maker stuck on here. This is what I use for my jerk baits, and most of what I have is all these waterproof boxes. I switched over to these when I was running on the bass boat a lot more. As you can see, you can hold a ton of baits in here. I have them stacked and crammed in here, but seals up. It's a little cumbersome with the 3 latches, but these suckers aren't getting wet. Everything will stay dry. Everything stays nice in here. So if you just need something to like fill up your fleet, just get a bunch of boxes. These are a great way to go. And then another one is the same thing on a 3700, but this is a 3700 deep. As a comparison,
That's money.
Here's your regular 3700 box, and this is your 3700 deep. So in this deep box, this is what I have all my deep cranks in. So I have everything from some 6 cents, 20-foot divers,
the jumbo boy,
all the way down to my shallowest diver in here's, I think, a 16-foot DT10.
Yeah.
But it's a good option.
Oh, you got a river C in there too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tactical DD crank. But that's what I use my deep cranks for, and I also have another one of these I have my square bills in. Next thing I want to bring up is A-rig storage. So I have 2 different boxes for A-rigs. So let's hold up. My first one here is just your typical Plano. Everyone's seen this. I have this one set up for all my big 5-wire A-rigs and stuff that's already rigged up. They stay in here and it works out good if you have a place to hang them, because then your paddle tails don't get screwed up. But they hold in here fantastic. I haven't had any issues with it, but this is for my 5 wires, all my big A-rigs. So this is the box I use on the kayak mainly early spring for smallmouth in the winter time, because where I'm at, the smallmouth like 3-wire A-rigs. This one works out great for storing those. But this side I have 2 unrigged A-rigs on this side. So those are just extras, backups in case I lose one or need to re-rig at some point. On this side, this is where I have my 2 of them that are already preset for the river, ready to rock and roll. But I love this little box. It's slim, it's little, small, compact, stores super easily. And for an example, here's a 3600 box as a comparison.
Yeah, almost.
This Gamakatsu box is slightly thicker, but it's also double-sided.
Yeah.
And then as a comparison, there's 3600 size box behind it. Awesome little box. So these are Academy H2O Express boxes. This is what I use for all my terminal tackle.
Which is almost identical to the Bass Mafia coffins, I think they call them.
Yeah,
right?
super similar. Super similar. The hinges are plastic. They all do have a metal rod running all the way through the back seam here. And they have this grid pattern all the way across it and on the back. So they do lock in on one another. But like this one, I just have split rings and treble hooks. So this is more of like my rigging for like crankbaits, my big swim baits, that type deal. But I have a ton of hooks and split rings in here. They don't get messed up in this one.
Yeah.
And I have everything from giant 1/0 and 2/0 trebles all the way down to your tiny little 6s and 8s. And then split rings, I have those all the way across the bottom here. And I can sit there and shake this thing up and they don't get tossed around like in some of your traditional Plano boxes. This is a great one. If you're lucky enough to be around an academy, pick one of these up. But if you're not, you can always order them offline. That's the bad part about it.
Yeah, so we're in West Virginia, and there's no academies anywhere. Like, I've actually never...
This spring, there will be one in Morgantown.
Really?
Fun fact.
Yeah. Academy? Okay, well,
Academy.
Hey, big news, big news.
Here's another one. This is a double-sided box. So on this one, I have jig heads on one side, and on the other side, I have all of my Texas rig style hooks. I have a ton of weight in here, but a lot of it is like my belly weighted EWG hooks for swim baits. I have the good old flashy swimmers. Of course, they're a mess right now, but the hooks stay in their slots. So I have everything from little 1/0 EWGs up to 5 and 6/0. So it works good. I have no complaints with this. They stay put, even on the jig head side. So this is where I'm like, I have all my swim bait heads, some of my underspins, and then like shaky head hooks. These are my Magnum shaky heads. Everything, like I said, stays in place, but I have a whole bunch of different sizes. There's a big,
it's a big old boy
underspin, but box has a little weight to it. But other than that, it's
what
great.
would you say that actually weighs? That's probably that's hefty.
It's 3 to 4 pounds for everything in here, but it's like 2-in-1. So that's the downside, but also it holds everything in one spot. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And granted, I have a ton of terminal tackle, so I have multiples of these boxes. But if you're just the average Joe, then if you get this one box, it's a one-stop shop.
Oh yeah, you're good.
But,
100%. And then let's do a little size comparison too.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, obviously, it's a 2-in-1.
About half.
You know, you got half the size right here, and then you just add basically 2 of these together makes one of those. So I mean, it's a great solution, especially for somebody that just wants like one tackle box.
Yeah.
That's the nicest thing. I used to be that guy. I just wanted one tackle box, and one tackle box would solve all my problems.
And truthfully, I mean, if you got this one, I mean, this is based on your 3700 size. If you had this one and didn't have as much terminal tackle, you could have on one side nothing but your terminal for all your techniques you're throwing. And another side, you could have all your hard baits and different stuff you're using. And you can literally throw this in your standard like school backpack and start pond hopping after school, after work. Just throw it in your truck.
It's perfect.
There you go. It's a one-stop shop. So that
100%.
is really nice.
Yeah. So now we're going to roll into a little bit of a different segment. We're going to go into the softer side of things. So basically, you know, a lot of the tackle that we have, obviously we have a lot of hard stuff, you know, hard baits, you have terminal tackle, all the good stuff that needs to be in a hard plastic box, right? But the biggest thing is, though, where do you put your soft plastics at? Do you just chuck them in your backpack? Do you lay them on the floor of your boat? You know, where are they at? For the longest time, that's what I did. I would just either put them in the boat somewhere or have them in a backpack just stuffed away. And the problem with that is, though, you run out of space. Like in my backpack, it was awful. I could barely get a pack in or out, you know, and so it was just terrible.
Yeah. Or just toss them in the old gallon Ziploc bag.
Yes, I've done that.
And you're changing
too.
those out every other trip.
Yeah, which is terrible. So we're gonna break out the good old bad boys, Buzbe. Okay, so Buzbe is a company that I just recently got into. I'm gonna give you that one, and then I'm gonna take the big boy. So Buzbe is something that I had never heard of until about probably 6 or 8 months ago. And of course, I saw it on a Facebook ad. I'll admit it, you know, I saw it on a Facebook ad first. I didn't know if it was just another kind of like, not scam, but just there's a lot of fish advertisement or fishing product advertisement on Facebook. And a lot of it is honestly BS, but I checked it out and I'm really glad I did, because these have become my favorite thing ever. So these are what they call their Quik cubes. And what's so great about these is just like how much you can jam into them, really. You know, we talked about jamming as much as you possibly could into a backpack. Now you have that in one cube and you're done. What's so nice about that though is you can take this from your kayak to your bass boat. Then you can just shove this whole thing right down into your fishing backpack and you're good to go. And this is their large size, and then that's their medium size. And so they actually have quite a few different sizes. Basically in each category, the large and the medium, they have the large regular, which is what I have here. This is 2 inches thick. Okay, and then they have their large deep, which is 3.25 inches thick, or 3 1/4. Same thing with their medium cubes. They got the medium cube. I chose to go with the just regular medium cube, and then they also have the medium deep. And as you can see, they say these things are 2 inches, but you can fit way more in these things than what you would think, because they kind of expand out. Yeah. You know, their chest is deep, I guess you could say.
And that is the nice thing about them being soft.
Yes.
Instead of like your hard traditional like Plano boxes.
Yeah. These have become just, they're just fantastic. I love them so much. This one, actually, it's ridiculous how much you could store in them. I know I've said that probably 2 or 3 times now, but I have stored, this is 28 packs of baits in this bad boy right here. 28 packs of baits in this. Now I would open it up for you, but I don't really want to spill all these out. That's the only caveat to these, is sometimes when you open them up, they kind of blow up, right? Now talk about that one a little bit too.
Yeah. So this is the medium size, and with this one I have the all like the new strolling baits in here. I also have another one that's dedicated to my Ned rigs. This is what I use on my kayak. I can toss in my backpack. Like, this is a lifesaver. It is amazing. And then also I have a 5-inch bull shad in here. It can also hold an 8-inch glide just fine, and it works. It'll fit in there perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Love that. I've been able to fit 4 to 5 glides of that size in here comfortably. They're not beating and banging around. They scratch on each other a little bit, but not enough to cause any damage to some of these high-end baits.
Yeah.
And then also some of like these crazy crawlers that there's no good way to store them. Some of them I have feathered trebles on there, so you can't put the hook protectors on there, and that makes it super nice for this clear plastic. So even though it is like a clear plastic, it is more like abrasion resistant. Hooks don't penetrate it, and it holds up super, super well.
Yeah, and this, let's talk about that real quick too, because this is like, okay, so when you first see this, and on camera, even right here, it doesn't, I don't know about you guys, but when I first saw this, it kind of looks like it would be a different type of material. And I think it goes down to like, it's the way this mesh actually looks. It looks like it would be softer, but it's really kind of a vinyl-y, kind of a hard plastic
almost
bag.
like rubbery type coat.
Yeah, it's a real unique kind of material that they use for these, but it's so tough. Like he was just saying, the hooks don't penetrate through, which is fantastic. So you could use this even as a tool bag. It's a multi-purpose thing, which is so nice. I think
that is the nice thing about them being waterproof.
Yes,
because this is their waterproof series. So the zipper is
totally
all
waterproof.
Taped up, seamed. It's awesome.
And what's so nice about them being waterproof, not only are they waterproof, they float. You know, so basically I could chuck this out of my kayak and I could reach down and pick it right back up. It's not sinking, and they even float with tools inside of them too. Yeah. So it's just a fantastic product all in all. The coolest thing about it though is the modular system that Buzbe has. So basically this bag is the exact same size as a 3700 size tackle box, which makes it the best thing ever when you're trying to store it, because everything matches up perfectly. Everything stacks perfectly. It is just wonderful. So you have that, and then also their medium size is the exact same size take so it's
About
basically the
36.
exact same size as a 3600 box.
There's
So
your
it
standard
stacks
36.
up perfectly with them. Or it gets even better. Let me get a 3700 size box out again. Take that medium and the 37. Okay. Now watch. You have this box right here, okay? You can stack 2 mediums side by side, 1, 2, and they make up a 3700 size box. So it just, everything is so seamless with the whole brand. It's just fantastic. And then one more product that, well, we'll get later. We'll get into some more stuff. But another soft bag that they have is their fast flat. So basically, there's a ton of different variations within this kind of category of their plastic bag series. But this one's super nice. It's a fast flat. It's so thin. Once again, waterproof zipper, but you can see, guys, it opens wide up. You can fit a ton of stuff in here, but it's nice because it doesn't have the I think they call it a gusseted bottom to it. So where the bag would normally expand out right here, it just keeps it nice and tight. So when you put stuff in here, it just keeps it nice, doesn't move around, doesn't scratch stuff, which I use for camera gear. That's my biggest thing. And then he uses it for tools. Another cool thing about these two is, if you look here, you got a tab right there, a tab right there, and a tab right there. So what's so cool about this is, like, I've seen a lot of guys actually, they kind of zip tie it to the back of their kayak seat. So you now have your own little to-go bag right on your back at all times. So for kayak fishermen, this is perfect. It just gives you a ton of, like, I don't know, just a ton of storage options. You can use it as a first aid bag if you want to.
It would work really great for that. Zip tying on the back of your seat, like you're just saying.
And you need a first aid bag to be waterproof. So that's, boom, right there. That's the perfect use for it. So that's Buzbe's Fast Flats. We're going to move into some other Buzbe stuff later on in the video as well. But for now, let's keep on going with the soft bags. Tyler's got some good options for us here.
Yeah, so these are some worm bags. I have 2 different sizes here. One is from 6 cents.
And let's show them that too. So this is actually a beautiful bag. I love that.
And you can get these bags on sale all the time from 6 cents. Go to the website directly, check them out. You can find good deals on bags, baits, apparel, whatever. This is one I literally just picked up within the past week from Live Fishing. That one I have some just regional Pacific stuff for the river.
Called it his drift bag, right?
And then this one here, it has all my flukes and then some of the new, like, strolling baits.
And show them that bag real quick too, because this is actually a super cool bag.
So with this one, I still haven't even labeled it, but it has a clear top, plus it has the label right there in the middle. You can write on it, and then it has the handle for the 2 zippers, so you can unzip it, and then the bag still stays closed because right here on the end, it's magnetic. So it makes it super nice. So if you're in and out of here constantly running through baits, then you don't have to worry about the zipper the whole time, unlike the 6 cents where you have the zipper. And I have, when I counted earlier, 32 bags of plastics in here, and it holds them all perfectly fine. It fits your standard, here's just your standard old Zoom Super Fluke. Fits those down in here perfectly. Also on the side, this is where I have the Magnum size, your 7.5s. And for, like, big summertime bass in ponds, they eat this color up. Love it. So there's my little trick for the day. So this is what I use for my Ned rigs. But I have 48 bags of plastics in this. I've heard some people cramming up to 50 to 60. If you can't tell by the size of the bag, I'm a little nuts about Neds. Most of them in here are all like your harder clamshells style packs, but it is just absolutely loaded. Plus it has this clear plastic spot up top, so you can stick miscellaneous, like if you want to keep, for example, like for me, all my Ned rigs. So if I want to keep hooks and different rigging options, rattles, blades, anything for rigging, I can have all those up here. And then everything down below is nothing but baits. But I can't fit as much in here because a lot of it is like these hard plastic clamshell style packaging. But even with that, like I said, it's 48 bags of plastics. This is absolutely insane.
The only thing I don't like about this bag is probably the color, because it is a baby blue, okay? And if you show
it's Z-Man blue. And
go to the camera, it shows so many stains. That's the only problem with it. Like the Buzbe stuff is so nice because it just doesn't show any stains at all because it can't really get stained. That's the only downside of that bag. But yeah, and also the handle on top too. That's kind of something that not too many people do.
Yeah, it's nice. It's sturdy, and it also has this like hard plastic bottom. So if you're just carrying this around, you sit in the wet grass, your stuff's not getting soaked.
Yeah.
So that is a nice little small feature that Z-Man thought of.
Absolutely.
When they did this.
And guys, also, if you are on a super tight budget, you obviously don't need any of this stuff. You know, the thing is like we splurged a little bit, you know, and those Buzbe bags, I forgot to mention too, those are like a $30 soft plastic bag. And so, yes, that's a lot of money to spend on a stupid, you know, bag for soft plastics. But I'm at the point where I just want to make, you know, my time as efficient as I can on the water. So that's why I bought them. But if it gets down to it, do this.
This is mainly what I use for all my excess soft plastics. When I'm not fishing with them, when they're not in the backpack, when I'm pond hopping, on the kayak, in the black pack, or in my bass boat. All my plastics are sitting in here. I have extra colors, everything. You can pick these up at Walmart, Dollar General, Target, whatever. And this one, I have labeled. It's nothing but tubes, different brands. So,
yeah. And then if it really gets down to it, and if you can't afford this, then just use a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. That's what I did for years. Had zero issues with it. Yes, it busts open every once in a while. Then you just replace it, you know. So there's all your different options there. So there's a ton of different ways to go about fixing the problem.
Here's another just like a little standard like tote option. I really picked this box up at Walmart. This is for all of my swim baits. Now this one I have a bunch of everything in here. I have it labeled for glide baits, but obviously that's not what's all in here.
Yeah.
I just got back from a trip, so there's a bunch of odds and ends stuff in here. But you can just set them in here. It's got a little bit of everything.
And people always shame other anglers for doing this too because they're like, oh, you're going to scratch up the paint. You're going to scratch up the paint.
That's the thing.
If you're using
just
lure,
throw
you're going to scratch
on
it
there.
up. And really, it doesn't move around that much. Like, if you think about it. Especially once you pack it full like you have it.
Yeah. But just throw hook protectors on there. You have your hook protectors on the baits. They're not going to rub around, scratch on each other as bad. You only have, like, for my crankdowns in here, they have the hard plastic bills. Other than that, there's not much that's really going to scratch the paint.
Yep, absolutely.
So that is a simple, cheap, good option if you're into the big bait game.
Yep.
Or even just regular soft plastics, other stuff, miscellaneous. I mean, you can throw tools, whatever you want in here.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to get into the more it's the intro to higher end tackle boxes. So Tyler went through a lot of the kind of intro stuff. So basically your Planos, your, what was the one? It's called Evolution. I think it's like a Bass Pro Shop series, but they carry it everywhere.
Just so kind of like a generic one.
Yeah, it's a generic box, which I mean, absolutely, it worked totally fine. It works. So the best intro into higher end tackle boxes is going to be Kast King's option. So they have their box here, and you can find these on Amazon. They actually sell.
Check them out around the Black Friday. For the 3600 size, you can, I think it's like $24 now.
Yeah.
You get 2 of them, and you can't buy one Plano Edge for that. And that's what Kast King is basically knocking off here.
Absolutely.
But so it is a sweet little box.
These are perfect. This is the 3600 size, like he just said, and really, it's the exact same thing as a Plano Edge. So you can see here. Yeah,
there's the Plano Edge.
That's a 3600 size. So I will tell you really the only difference is, okay, watch this latch. You lift it from the bottom and it comes off from the top, okay?
Which I prefer to use.
I prefer it this way.
But here's the Plano Edge. It rolls off from the top and off the bottom.
Yeah, so it's literally all they did was reversed it. Rolls. Yeah. So it's such a minute difference.
One little thing is just for if you grab like the edge on the edge box.
Yeah.
Sometimes it won't line up all the way. So they're a little more finicky. You have to line up right in the middle.
Yep.
Versus the Kast King, it's a little more forgiving. It's personal preference.
Yeah, it really
doesn't matter. I mean, the one thing, once you know about the edge, that little quirk about it, it's perfectly fine.
Yep.
I haven't had any
And I've
issues
seen a lot of bad reviews about that on the Plano edges. I don't think it's that serious. I wouldn't even consider that when I'm buying them. Yeah. It's a fantastic box regardless.
Yeah. And another thing, like comparison against them, is with the hinge. So with the Plano edge, it actually has a metal rod that runs right through the hinge. Versus the Kast King just has your old plastic tabs. So because I have 3 of them in my kayak, and I've had 2 of them for over a year now, and I've had no issues at all.
They don't really.
But I'm not super hard on them. I'm not dropping them, throwing them around.
Yeah.
If you're worried about that, just step up to the Plano edge.
The other difference is in Kast King's boxes, this pack right here. This is the and by the way, this is a waterproof box, just like the Plano edges are. These are all waterproof boxes. And when I said earlier in the intro that we were stepping up kind of in quality with the boxes, these are all waterproof boxes. I don't buy the regular boxes that aren't waterproof anymore because I like to keep my tackle safe. You pay too much money for it, so you need to protect it.
Yeah.
This little water wicking pack right here is going to be bigger on this
filter
than it is on the Plano edge.
Also, the nice thing about it is they actually use it as a space divider in the box.
Yeah, so you can see that right there.
Versus the Plano edge, where it's basically just stuck here on the edges where you can use it. So it actually takes up some of your divider space, like you can see with this one here.
Yeah, so
versus that, it's a actual divider. It doesn't take up any of your real estate.
Yeah, so that's kind of a shame. So this is actually Tyler's box. He keeps, little jigs in it. He's got his jerk baits and everything, and it lays out really nice and neatly. He keeps this in his black pack. This is his river box, basically. So all of his river baits that he's going to use, boom, there it goes. So that's one of his Kast King boxes. And how many do you have? You have a ton of these things.
I actually have 3 of these now.
Okay, you have 3 of these.
Yeah.
In the 3600 size?
All in the 3600 size. Okay. This is mainly what I use in the river, in my black pack on the river for my kayak. Then I have one 3600 size Plano edge. This is the flex because I was trying to actually fill in the role of just your old cheap.
See, standard rating right there. Boom.
This is what I was using till I got this one. So as you see, I'm constantly tinkering, constantly moving stuff around.
Yeah.
Because what was different with that other old Plano is I have one whole section open. And I could still have some other just random like hard baits. I have some chatterbaits, some topwater stuff, some niche crankbaits. But what was nice about this, I could still run all my spinner baits, swim jigs, some different stuff in this big compartment here to the side. Here in the middle, I have a deep diving crank. And then it also fits lengthwise a 6-inch mag draft.
That's honestly, that's a fantastic box.
Yeah.
So there you go. Intro into nicer-ish boxes. Boom, you got your Kast King. I would start here, then go here. So take that over there.
I'll hang on to this to kind of compare it.
Now we have the Big Daddy. So this is actually a huge step up from this.
Yes.
This is the plain Plano Edge Flex. But it is almost like a deep box. And really, I think this is actually 2.8 inches thick. Which is, that's close to 3 inches, which a normal deep box is. So basically, this is my go-to box for everything. It's so nice because all these dividers, just as this box right here, they are all interchangeable. You can make these do whatever you want. They give you a huge pack of dividers. They come with a huge pack, all for free, which is actually pretty fantastic. So you can customize them, make them however you want. I have this whole chunk dedicated directly to soft plastics. So I actually have 8 packs of baits in here. No.
9.
It was 9. I have 9 packs of baits stuffed in this one section right here. And that all goes underneath the seat of my kayak every time I go out, which is super nice. I have some terminal stuff that I use all the time right in these 2 holes. I have rattle traps, a whole section of jigs, chatterbaits. This is like my go-to section. I throw everything in here. It doesn't really matter what it is. If I'm using it for the day, it's going in that section right there. And then I have all these like little clamshell packs for all my dark sleepers and hard to fit baits. I put it in there. So it really works out nicely.
And this is basically the same thing, just its little brother.
Yep.
This is 3600. This is the 3700. Those are the two sizes they offer.
Yep. So that's basically it.
Yeah, I'm still fitting a 6-inch mag draft in this one, and then spinner baits. So it's almost identical to what Baxter has, just a downsize. Where he's fitting soft plastics in a compartment, I have spinner baits.
Yeah.
So
both ways is sweet. It just depends on your style of fishing, really. I like to have all my crap in one box underneath my seat, so then I don't have to reach back behind me to get more. But Tyler, yeah, he has way more tackle than I do, so he has to find other options.
And I also have a lot more like smaller. Like I run 4 3600 boxes and one 3700 as a terminal box.
I do all 3700s, so that's the difference between us. So that's those.
Yep.
Now we're getting into basically the cream of the crop, the nicest stuff ever. So once again, Buzbe, fantastic company. Can't say enough about them. We're going to get into their 2 series of boxes that they have. I only have 2 of their boxes right now. I want to get some more here soon, but the biggest thing is right now I have what I need. I don't need anything else. I haven't found a need or gap to fill. So this right here is their intro series of boxes. So this is what they call their Buzbe Basic Box, basically. So this is a basic box. This is their thin series, as you can see. But this thing is sweet, okay?
Yeah,
so
and we are both running these in our kayak as our primary terminal tackle boxes.
Yeah, 100%. So
phenomenal.
They're heavy duty. Just because they're basic, it doesn't mean that they're of lesser quality than the regular Buzbe boxes are that you're about to see. So this is my terminal box, and I have condensed two of my 3600 size terminal boxes into one. So I have a ton in here. This thing weighs actually a good bit, but it's just fantastic. And their clips, or their dividers that they have in here, it's kind of hard. I don't want to tilt it up too much because I'll probably dump it out. But their dividers are fantastic. So they call it's like, oh, it's a new technology, which I guess kind of it is. They have these little pinholes drilled into the walls, these walls. Okay, so they have pinholes drilled into these walls. And basically on each one of their dividers, they have these little rubber, it's almost like a little half circle that comes out. Once you press that tab in, it locks in place so tight that I can pick up the whole box almost, and it won't, it'll still hold on. It's just fantastic.
And that's also something else that we forgot to mention. But with the Buzbe's and along with the Plano Edge series and the Cascade boxes, something that's just a minor thing, but all these dividers, they come pre-split. You don't have to, it's not like your regular ones when you go to Walmart, pick it up, you got to cut them all. These come already apart, and that's how they can get these little like detent pins in the side of them.
Yeah, so these are pre-split.
It is
so seamless. It's just flawless. When you get a nice box, you instantly open up that box, and it's just like, man, I'm glad I paid the money for this.
It's a small thing, but it makes a world of difference.
100%. What's so nice about these is, and especially for a terminal tackle box, this is the first tackle box I've ever seen do this. They have ridges on the roof, basically, of the tackle box. So when you put this lid down, those ridges go over top and meet in the middle with these dividers.
And actually has a full seal.
It is
from
a
compartment
100%
to compartment.
seal. You can turn it upside down, run it over, no problem at all. Another thing with the Buzbe stuff that I want to mention before I forget, you have 2 Buzbe boxes. They have these, here, hold up. They have these grooves right here, okay? It's in a kind of a honeycomb shape because obviously the name Buzbe. These grooves are also on the bottom of the tackle boxes too. So when you stack Buzbe boxes on top of each other, they lock into place, as you just heard there. You can't get them to move. And then when you're tilting them, do you see? That's how much tilt they're gripping on for dear life. It's crazy. So these are fantastic for stacking because they just stack so nice and neatly. Now, this is the Buzbe regular box, basically. So this is the 28 size box. That's also a 28 size box. I think that's the 28T because it's a thin, but this is just a regular Buzbe 28 size box. This one is so cool because really this is my crankbait box and it also has my spinnerbaits in it. Right now I have about, I think there's 6 spinnerbaits in there, and then I don't even know how many crankbaits. You can fit a ton in here, as you can see. But what's so cool about these is, first off, 100% waterproof. They both float as well.
But this is kind of the box that put Buzbe on the map.
This is what makes it unique.
It is very cool, very unique. Cool design on their behalf.
See, it's different, you know, so that's probably something you've never seen before. These boxes in here actually are interchangeable, so they're like Legos. And I'm sure you've probably already seen reviews about them before, but they are fantastic. So you see that hole right there?
I have that little honeycomb pattern on the bottom that actually locks those.
You press them in, and then they don't fall out. It's perfect. They're great for interchanging too. If you just want to make a day box out of it, you can literally take, you know, say if you have a bunch of these bins laying out, you know, you just mix and match whatever one you want. If you want, you know, square bills for the day, put your square bill box in there. If you want jerk baits for the day, put your jerk bait box in there. It's fantastic. Same thing goes for the lid as well. It has this little piece here, these ridges. They fit perfectly. None of the hooks jump out. Just fantastic. All in all, fantastic. These have been our favorite boxes, but this box is heavy. Okay, so if you want a super light tackle option, maybe don't go with these. But I like heavy. I think heavy kind of feels like quality in a way. I mean, would you agree?
To an extent,
to
yeah.
An extent,
in the kayak sense of it, when I'm looking at it, these aren't optimal because of the weight.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
It makes a difference there, but same time, I'm running one of these, and the amount that you can store in here is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then also, like Baxter was talking about with your different like bait bins and how you can easily swap them out, it makes it super simple just to pop one out, pop a new one in, and you have totally different baits for the time of your water
and everything
conditions.
Is modular. It just pop one out, pop one in, like you just said. Nice. It's fantastic. I want to point out something else that I just remembered. I have always had such a hard time with spinnerbaits. I could never store my spinnerbaits properly. I've now found the new best way, and it's with these modular boxes. So this is what they call their square. This is a 2x2. You can fit so many spinnerbaits in here, and it's perfect. It's, you know, it's a square, obviously, but it fits that kind of like triangular shape of the spinnerbait too. And it keeps everything together. What did you used to store your spinnerbaits in back when you were a kid? Because mine, I used to jump them across like the dividers.
Yeah. So I actually used to have a friend of mine. He gave me some of his old like actual like spinnerbait boxes.
Gotcha.
So there's like your Plano or Flambeau, actual like dedicated spinnerbait box. And most of my spinnerbaits all have some kind of trailer on, and that's why I switched over to using the edge here, or even like in my kayak now, I actually have a divider setup in it. But all my spinnerbaits, they have trailers already on them. So I have like a swim bait on here. To being able to store them in a box, if you're just storing like bulk spinnerbaits, it's fine to store them in the actual like spinnerbait box you can buy. But once you put that trailer on there, then you're having your swim bait or trailer hook back there, it gets kinked. So that's something to consider. If you're storing mass numbers, those other old school boxes are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I could recommend them. But if you're leaving them rigged, there's better options.
Yeah. So he does it that way. I do it this way. I think I don't know. I like this way better because I don't keep trailers on mine. Yeah. I just rip them off when I'm done because normally they're trashed anyways. And then I shove them right there. So I can fit probably normally 8 to 10 spinnerbaits in there. You probably fit more in there if you tried. So yeah, fantastic boxes. Buzbe did a bang up job. And both of these boxes float just as the other Buzbe stuff does too. And these are nice because also this hinge here, and I don't mean to glaze Buzbe too hard, but the hinge is totally reinforced. Like there's no piece of the hinge that's actually going to hit the ground. You got these big old plastic columns coming up. And kind of guarding it, but it's got a really thick metal
rod that runs all the way the length across.
It's not just a chunk of a rod here in between gap and then a chunk of a rod here. So these are just fantastic boxes. The latches, you can buy new latches. I've never broken a latch or anything like that, but you can buy new ones if you want to, if they broke or anything like that. So yeah, fantastic company, fantastic box, and that's about it. So guys, we're going to be making some more videos here soon, so keep an eye out for it. This is just basically our first video, but we wanted to give you guys something that you're gonna, you know, actually like, because everybody's right now normally kind of stuck inside.
Everyone's going stir crazy like us. Like,
yeah.
We're sitting here tinkering around and thinking of every which way we can make stuff better. How can we make this season be more effective and maximize our time on the water?
That's the biggest thing, efficiency.
That's like with us. You're still going to school.
Yep.
I work a full-time job. Our schedules don't always line up to be able to get out and fish for a whole day, half day.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's going to be a half hour here, an hour here. Just, hey, run down to the river real quick, make a few casts when you have 15 minutes of time, and then we're off to
the next job, basically.
Yeah, whatever else we got going on.
So that's the biggest thing, is maximizing your time on the water, being as efficient as possible, and yeah, just kind of upgrading when you can. So hopefully this video helped you guys, and like I said, all these are going to be linked in the description, so you guys can kind of check them out for yourself. None of the links are going to be affiliate links at all, but it's just basically to help you guys out and show you what we use. So anyways, we'll catch you guys on the next one, and we'll see you later. Yep.